Good morning, everyone. So, I completed all three senses, and I also we have started in previous session. So, today we will continue and finish by that eye portion. So, in previous session, we already learned about the function of eye and what are the accessory structures and what is the function of pupils, constriction and dilatation of pupils. We already completed by this all things. Now, today we will discuss about the retina. Okay. So, what is the retina? It is known as a sensory tunic. Okay. And delicate two-layer membrane. So, retina is a delicate structure and it consists two-layer membrane. And which two layer? First, that is the pigmented layer, and second one, that is the neural layer. So, in pigmented layer, it is situated the outer layer and absorb the light and prevent its scattering. So, what is the meaning of scattering? Which means disturb the image. Okay, so image may be blurred in the scattering. So the pigmented layer prevents this kind of the scattering of image. Okay, so it prevents it and it absorbs the light. So the main function of the pigmented layer is that. And second layer, that is the neural layer, which consists photoreceptors that transmutes light energy. Second one, that is the bipolar cells and ganglion cells. And third one, amacrine and horizontal cell. Okay. So today we will learn about this all three neural layer types in detail. Okay. So here in figure, the image of the retina is shown. So this is the pathway of light. Okay, so light will be entering from here. Then these are the ganglion cell. Okay, which are included into the neural layer. This is the amacrine cell and this is the bipolar cell. Okay, so overview of this neural layer. So three types are included in neural layer. Then photoreceptor also included into the neural layer. In photoreceptor, two cones and rods are included. We learn in detail today. And this is the horizontal cell. Okay, so this is the horizontal cell and pigmented layer of the retina. This is the anterior side layer pigmented, and these all included into the neural layer. Okay. So first we will learn about the ganglion cell and optic disc. So what is the ganglion cell? Axons. It runs along the inner surface of the retina and leave the eye as the optic nerve. So the ganglion cell run into the inner surface of the retina. Okay. So as we discussed in previous slide, that retina consists the two layer, that is the neural layer, and second one is the pigmented layer. Okay, so as in previous image also we discussed that, so the ganglion cells which run in inner surface of the retina and leave our eye as the optic nerve, and second one, that is the optic disc. So it is the site where the optic nerve leaves the eye. So as we discuss in this line, that ganglion cell which leave our eye as optic nerve. So as the optic nerve leave our eye, the optic disc is situated there and it lacks the photoreceptor, that is the rods and cones. So which is known as the blind spot. Okay. See, ganglion cell is shown an optic disc. So this is the central artery, right? And this is the vein of retina. So by this optic nerve, okay, the blood flow provide to the our retina and eye. And this spot is known as the optic disc. Okay, and this is the optic nerve. This part is known as the sclera, and this is the choroid. These are the pigmented layer, and this is the nervous neuron layer of the retina. Okay. So retinal photoreceptor, which includes two rods and cones. So what is rods? Rods is respond why dim light are enter in our eye. Okay, and it is used for the peripheral vision of our eye. Rods are activated when any dim light enter in our eye. And cones. What is cones? Cones are respond and activated why any bright light enter in our eye. Okay, so this is the main difference of the rods and cones, and have a high acuity color vision. So the cone is activated and have a high quality color vision, are founded into the macula lutea as we discussed in previous session, and are concentrated into the fovea centralis. Okay, so cones are activated at bright light and rods are activated when dim light is enter in our body. So this is the retinal photoreceptors. Then blood supply to the retina, as we discussed in earlier image, that artery and vein which supply to our optic nerve and whole blood supply of the retina. So the neural retina receive its blood supply from two sources. Which two sources are responsible for that? Outer third which receive the blood from choroid, and inner two third which covered from the central artery and vein. So these two blood supplies, so two sources of blood supply are responsible for the retina. Then inner chambers and fluids. So which kind of the fluids present in the retina, and what are the inner chambers? So the lens which separate the internal eye into anterior and posterior segment. Okay, so lens which separate two layer, anterior and posterior segment. So the posterior segment which is filled with the clear gel which is known as a vitreous humor. Okay, so in previous session also we have found in the one image, that is the vitreous humor ciliary bodies. Okay, vitreous humor which is a clear gel like substance, which is clear gel fluid and present into the posterior segment. Okay, which transmit the light and support the posterior surface of the lens. Okay, what is the function of the vitreous humor? That is transmit the light and support the posterior surface of the lens. Okay, so the posterior side will be covered from the lens. Okay, and hold the neural retina firmly against the pigmented layer and contribute the intraocular pressure. This is the main point which contribute the intraocular pressure by the vitreous humor. Is if it collected into the optic disc or into the increased intraocular pressure, then it will damage to our optic nerve and the disorder occur into the retina. So this is the main portion of the vitreous humor which present into our retina and which transmit the light. Okay, so it is a clear gel and situated into the posterior segment. Okay, now discuss about the anterior segment. What is that? So it is also composed of the two chamber, that is the anterior and posterior. Anterior situated between the cornea and iris, and posterior situated between the iris and lens. Okay, so this is the place where anterior chamber situated and where posterior chamber is located. So aqueous humor. Same as vitreous humor, aqueous humor also present into the anteriorly side. Okay, so a plasma-like fluid which fills the anterior segment. In posterior, it is a clear gel-like fluid which is situated into the posterior side and transmits to our light. So that is the vitreous humor. And what is aqueous humor? A plasma-like fluid that fills the anterior segment and it drains via the canal of Schlemm. So, main function of the aqueous humor, that is the support, nourish and remove the waste particles from eye. So this is about the anterior segment. In figure also it is situated. This is the part of cornea. This is whole lens and anteriorly side. So cornea, epithelium, endothelium, aqueous humor will be found here, and posterior side vitreous humor is located. Okay, so this is the two types of fluid. situated into the separately anteriorly and posteriorly side. Next, that is the refraction and lenses. So when any light passes from one transparent medium to another medium, its speed change and it is refract, which means bend. We already learned in our 10th and 12th standard that this kind of the experiment already learned in that previous previous year, that any light passes from one transparent medium to another medium, it will be bent, okay, slightly bent from medium. So the light passing through the convex lens is bent so that the rays converge into the focal point. So as the bend is there, so light passing through the convex lens and it will be bent from there and coverage onto the focal point, okay. So when a convex lens form an image, the image is upside down and reverse right to left. So due to this refraction, a convex lens which form an image, it will be upside down and reverse. Okay. So right to left. See, by this image you can understand easily. This is the point sources. Okay, these two are point sources and this is the focal point. So when any light enter into the retina, it will be bent from one medium to another. Okay, and due to this reason the image will be reversed. Okay, see, this is transparent medium and this is another medium, so it will be bent. Okay, then photoreception means functional anatomy of the photoreceptors. So what is the photoreception? Process by which the eye detects the light energy. Our eye is detected some kind of the light energy. When any light enter in our body, the eye will be detected the light energy, which is known as a photoreception. So the rods and cones are activated at that time and visual pigments also visible. So it arranged in a stack of disc-like enfoldings of the plasma membrane that change the shape as they absorb the light. Okay. So rods and cones we already discussed in previously. So rods are activated any dim light and cones are activated any bright light. Okay. So in that case, a stack of disc-like enfolding will be present and plasma membrane and can change the shape. Okay, by the absorbing light. So here the image shown for the connecting stalk. Okay, this is the rod cell body, this is the outer fiber and bipolar cell. So rods, functional characteristics of rods: sensitive to dim light and best suited for the night vision. Obviously it will activated on the dim light, so benefit for the night time. Okay, so suitable for the night vision. It absorbs the all wavelength of the visible light. The main function of the rods are it activated on the dim light, so observe the all wavelength of the visible light and perceived input in a gray tone only. So that's why we can vision our dim light. Okay, so it perceived the gray tones only and some of the visual points from many rods feed into a single ganglion cell and it will result into the fuzzy and indistinct image. So obviously it activated on dim light and absorbed the all visible light. So the image we see that the indistinct and maybe fuzzy. And cons. What is cons? They also part of the photoreceptor, but it activated onto the bright light. So the functional characteristics of the cons is need to bright light from activation means have a low sensitivity and pigments that furnish a vividly color view, like we can show a different color because the cons are not absorb the whole wavelength of the light. So we can show this kind of the different color into the visible spectrum. Each cone synapse with the single ganglion cell, and vision is detailed and has a high resolution. Okay, so our vision is detailed and it have a high resolution because it consists and synapse with the single ganglion cell, while rods are with bipolar cell. So this all about the eye and accessory organs and structures. So okay, function of eye, pupils and photoreceptors. So if you find any doubt, you may ask in later session and read properly. Okay. So thank you everyone.